Hi, everyone. Today, our work from home opportunity is going to be for Pinterest. Now, I was super excited to show you all these opportunities because one, full disclosure, Pinterest pays super good. I am not talking about some lousy $50,000 a year salary. I mean every bit of a six-figure salary. And no, you do not need a degree. No, you're not going to need an extensive amount of, experience and that type of stuff. I'm going to take you through 3 different roles today, all virtual roles. Of course, they are no phones. And we'll talk through the job description and how much each one of these roles pays because the salary is displayed on the job description. And then I am also going to do a live resume demo. So based on one of these jobs that we're going to talk about, I am going to show you exactly what I would put in my resume and how you can ensure that you don't get that auto reject. That rejection email that you sometimes will get as soon as you hit submit. So let's go ahead and hop right in and look at our first opportunity. Our first opportunity is going to be for a senior specialist for the graphic and sensitive content team. Now, don't let that word or that phrase intimidate you. If you've ever used Pinterest or really any social media for that matter, you're familiar with how certain things can be flagged. Sometimes if you put up a post, it might be taken down. So this is kind of what that role is going to be about. It's going to be about evaluating the content that pinners are posting on their platform. So what you'll do here is you're going to review content that might be controversial, graphic, or sensitive. You're going to accurately assess for compliance using their community guidelines and legal regulations. Now, that is just a fancy way of saying that they will train you on what the Pinterest guidelines and, regulations are. So you do not have to have like a legal background by any means, by any means at all. Some of the other things that you will do is you'll serve as a policy expert in specific graphic or sensitive policy domains. So basically, this is a fancy way of saying that you're going to be reviewing graphic content or content that could be presumed as graphic. Not everything is going to automatically be graphic. So if it goes up on the platform and somebody reports it, or if it is during the uploading process, the system might kind of flag it and you might have to do like a manual review of that particular image or video or whatever it is that was posted. And like I said, you'll learn, develop, and implement evolving policies, guidelines, trainings, and processes. So yes, they will train you. You will collaborate with cross-functional teams like the policy team, outsourcing, engineering, product team, and design teams. Now, this job is it's a really cool role because you're going to work with a lot of different teams. And really, it's a great opportunity to get exposure to different I guess you could say different career areas. So this is a very centralized sort of role, and they're really not asking you to have much experience, remain up to date on workflow changes, and track and analyze key operational performance metrics. So I do want to point out that this is a fully remote role. But they do have a philosophy where they say they'd like you to visit a Pinterest office for collaboration once per quarter or up to 4 times per year. Now, if you don't live near a Pinterest office, they will cover your travel and expenses. And Pinterest people, the ones that I know that work there, they always fly sometimes it's first class. And they stay like in really nice hotels while they're there in like a really nice part of the city. So from what I remember, one of my contacts telling me there, they have a really great time when they do those meetups. And availability to work weekends and, maybe a rotational schedule. Strong critical thinking and contextual thinking skills, a willingness to learn, ability to remain detail oriented, all the stuff that you already have. Now let's talk about salary. Salary is going to come in at $76,000 up to $113,000. And yes, this does depend on your location. So, and it's also going to depend on your experience. So this would be for Colorado, but if you, for example, lived in California or, like New York, that number could very well go much higher. So I just wanted to emphasize that this is very easily a six-figure role, and they didn't put some hard requirement on it, such as saying you had to have 10 years of experience or 5 years. They're going to just like, we want you to have a good attitude. We want you to be detail oriented, and we'll train you on everything else. So before I get into the next particular job, I want to go ahead and do the resume and show you all exactly what I would put on my resume. So if I were going to apply for that role, this is what I would have. I wouldn't, put too much into it. I like to keep my resumes nice and clean. So for my statement up here, I just said passionate content moderator with 5 years experience in social media, policy management, and escalations. Why are we calling out words like content moderation and quality review and trend analysis? Well, we're calling out those words because those words were in the job description. A lot of people will submit resumes not realizing that they go through a computer system that is looking for certain keywords before it sends it to a recruiter. So the recruiter is not going to pull it first. The computer is going to pull it first. So that's why if you have specific experience in content moderation, social media, you want to make sure you add all of that stuff and make sure you're hitting those keywords that are in alignment with the job description. So for your technical skills, you can keep it pretty simple, Microsoft Office, Adobe. And here in the professional experience section, this is just an example. You can put things like you served as a subject matter expert. Maybe in the past, you've investigated and resolved policy violation reports. If you've ever worked in any type of like billing support, collection support, even if you worked in a phone store, whatever, all of those things require some sort of being mindful of guidelines and processes and procedures. So that's stuff that most of you already have experience with. And things like analyzing error trends, maybe you review legal compliance, maybe you educated some content creators on best practices. This is just an example. If you want like the full example, I do have the resume templates down below in the description box if you just don't feel like, writing a resume from scratch. But this is how I would write my resume, just so you have an idea. This is the format. It's nice and clean. It's easy to read. So let's hop back into our next role. Our next role is going to be for an integrity analyst. Now, I will tell you up front, this job is a little bit similar to the one that we just reviewed. The integrity analyst is going to work on the trust and safety team, and they're going to ensure that all pinners have a safe experience on Pinterest. And this includes tackling challenging adversarial problems at scale and detecting policy violating content. So that, again, there goes that policy violating content phrase, like from the previous role. What you're going to do is you're going to protect users on Pinterest from bad actors, people that might have fake accounts on Pinterest, or people that might be there just kind of phishing or, trying to hack somebody's account. So you would kind of be on that team and you would look at abuse trends to detect bad content or behavior on the platform. And it sounds like you'll also work with different teams to come up with different strategies for combating abuse on Pinterest. And you may recommend some product adjustments. So for this, they're saying, hey, we just want you to have a couple of years of experience working with or analyzing data. This can be any type of data. If you've ever done medical billing and coding, you've ever done any type of data entry, that is literally the same as analyzing data. If you look at graphs, charts, all that type of stuff is pretty much the same thing. It says proficiency in SQL. If you don't have that, it's not a big deal. And I will tell you why. One, Pinterest will pay for your training. If there's certain types of training that you need to get, they will pay for that for you. But in a lot of these positions, these are just nice to haves, but they're not always something that you'll, necessarily use in the job. So sometimes when you don't have things like SQL, it's not a big deal because they'll either train you or they'll say, well, we don't even really use that here. So this role, it didn't have the salary on it, but because it is similar to our previous role, I would assume that it's going to be very close to this number as far as up to the $113,000 range or higher, depending on your location, because these are just very similar jobs. So I'm going to assume this is also a six-figure role. Now, our third role is going to be for those of you that kind of like to do more things in the operational arena. So here's a business analyst role. And this one is a little bit more complex. It says we're looking for an experienced business analyst to own the identification analysis and provide insights that drive operational change management across global sales and service organizations. So if you've ever worked in any type of leadership position, you've been a manager, if you've ever, worked in a training capacity where you had to train people or you had to do exam prep, this is probably going to be a really, really good fit for you. You're going to perform complex analysis, find actionable insights, and present it to C-level stakeholders. So if you like to do presentations, you like to talk, you like to just present new ideas, again, this is going to be right up your alley. For this one, it does require you to have 5 years of relevant experience in data analytics or strategy. So if you've ever worked in like machine learning, you've ever worked in technical roles with like Splunk, that software, this is kind of similar. And they just want, or if you've worked in marketing is another big one. If you've done marketing, advertising, anything related to data analytics, that is going to be a really good fit. So again, they say they want you to have a past role in management or strategy consulting, even investment banking, business operations, sales operations, or systems operations. It really doesn't matter. Now, this role is a little bit more complex, so it pays a little bit more. It goes up to $164,000 per year. Again, if you live in a state like California or New York, this number obviously can go much higher. So those are our opportunities. Let me know if you have any questions about these and let me know when you apply for these. Okay. If you have questions about any other types of job roles or anything else you want me to do a video on, please leave me a comment below and I would be happy to do a video for you guys. Until the next time, I will see you later. Bye.